When John Wick burst onto the scene in 2014, it redefined modern action filmmaking. The stylized violence, mythic world-building, and Keanu Reeves' steely performance made it a cult favorite that grew into a billion-dollar franchise. Yet, even after 4 films, one specific scene from the original still lingers in the minds of longtime fans, not for its brilliance, but for a subtle flaw that continues to frustrate viewers who value authenticity. It's the church shootout. While iconic and gorgeously choreographed, the scene, set in what's supposed to be a Russian Orthodox church, features an architectural inaccuracy that has flown under the radar for years. Namely, the presence of pews. The scene that cemented John Wick's ruthlessness. Midway through the first film, John Wick tracks down Russian mobster Viggo Tarasov, who's using a church as a front for his criminal empire. What follows is one of the film's most brutal moments. John storms into the sanctuary, guns blazing, taking out Viggo's men with calculated fury. Visually, the sequence is stunning. The church is dimly lit, its long wooden pews cast in shadow. The architecture creates a natural corridor of chaos, perfect for the film's bullet ballet. It's one of the early moments that showcase the unique action language that would define the John Wick series. But if you look closer, something doesn't add up. The hidden flaw: why are there pews in a Russian Orthodox church? Here's the issue. Russian Orthodox churches traditionally don't have pews. The interior of an Orthodox church is typically an open space where worshippers stand during services. The presence of pews is a distinctly Western feature, more common in Roman Catholic or Protestant churches. This may seem minor, but John Wick fans have grown to love the franchise for its cultural detail. From Italian crime syndicates to Japanese Yakuza honor codes, the films evolved into a masterclass in international lore and design. Which is why this early misstep, presenting a Catholic-style church as Russian Orthodox, is so frustrating in retrospect. The scene was actually filmed at St. Francis Xavier Church in Park Slope, Brooklyn, not in Brighton Beach's Little Russia neighborhood. Was it a mistake or a clever cover story by Viggo? Some fans argue that this wasn't a mistake at all, but a deliberate in-universe decision that fits with Viggo's cunning personality. According to one fan theory, Viggo deliberately uses a Western-style church with pews, rather than a traditional Orthodox one, to better hide his illegal dealings. Think about it. An open Orthodox floor plan would leave any covert meeting completely exposed. But rows of pews? They offer cover. A few mobsters sitting in silence with heads bowed could easily pass for worshippers, masking secret conversations in plain sight. It's a brilliant way for a criminal to exploit religious space for business and plausible deniability. If you buy this theory, then the presence of pews isn't a continuity error. It's a reflection of just how clever and calculating Viggo really is. The franchise outgrew its early shortcuts. Whether the pews were a deliberate choice or just a practical set design shortcut, they reflect the first film's status as a smaller production. Back in 2014, John Wick wasn't the global juggernaut it is now. Its priority was simple: deliver tight, clean action sequences in locations that worked for the budget. But the franchise quickly evolved. Later installments took deep dives into global assassin lore, introduced powerful factions like the High Table, and turned set pieces into operatic showdowns. Just compare the pew shootout in John Wick, 2014, with a climactic duel in John Wick, Chapter 4, which takes place outside a towering Parisian church at sunrise. Shot like a ballet of bullets, that sequence reflects the franchise's matured style, where even light and shadow are part of the choreography. As cinematographer Dan Lawson explained in an interview, director Chad Stahelski doesn't think of it as an action scene, but as a ballet. We shot it night for day to control the sunrise. That level of intentionality shows how far the series has come from dim interiors with mismatched pews. A small flaw that reflects a bigger beginning. Ultimately, the mismatched church interior in the first John Wick may be an error, or a clever Easter egg. Either way, it's a detail that fans still return to over a decade later, because it reminds us just how far the franchise has traveled. In many ways, this single flaw captures what makes the original film so special. John Wick didn't start with an expansive mythos, jaw-dropping set designs, or globe-trotting production. It began with a man in pain, a world of violence, and a director who knew how to stage action like nobody else. The mythology came later, but even in its earliest form, the franchise was already planting the seeds of something much bigger. Yes, the pews are wrong, but the action? Still flawless.